You're listening to Chamber Chat on Chamber Channel 3. Chamber Chat is brought to you in part by Mansmith Pharmacy, where your care is our only concern.
This is Chamber Chat, brought to you by Mansmith Pharmacy, and I'm Deb Height. Today we're visiting with Brian Garlles. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here again.
You bet. Today we're going to be talking about the annual upcoming event that's put on by Ducks Unlimited. And Brian, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, we're having our 28th annual banquet here in Emmitsburg at the VFW on November 9th. Doors will open at 5 o'clock with a meal at 7, and our fundraising auction will start at 8 o'clock.
Awesome. Sounds like a great event. Now, there's a special anniversary that the Ducks Unlimited organization is celebrating this year.
Yeah, Ducks Unlimited was established back in 1937, so this is our 75th anniversary year. Ducks Unlimited has quite a history in the North American continent. It was established back in 1937 during the Dust Bowl days, when the wetlands and marshes were drying up due to a drought, much like we're having this year, as you can drive around the country and see our own areas where a lot of the wetlands and marshes have dried up. That's a natural phenomenon, but back in 1937, the founders of DU were concerned that the entire waterfowl population on the North American continent was becoming depleted, so they decided to form an organization dedicated to the preservation and restoration of wetlands. And here we are today with a great success story.
You bet, we sure are. Now, DU is also a state organization?
Yeah, in the state, we're a member of the national organization, and just within the state of Iowa here, since 2011, we have spent over $3 million, or Ducks Unlimited has spent over $3 million in the state of Iowa on projects. We've got several local projects in the area. There's one in Clay County. Dan Green Slough is a project that is getting national notoriety in the success of the project. The marsh was overtaken by undesirable plants, undesirable fish species, and they did a natural drawdown, or basically drained it, and to kill all the rough fish and expose the bottom of the marsh to sunlight, which allowed the emergent vegetation, natural vegetation, to come back. And now if you drive past that marsh, it's just full of green grass and reeds and the type of vegetation that ducks really like. And this few weeks ago when duck hunting season opened, that was one of the few places that had water, and ducks were just concentrated in that area. So it did actually have a great success story, and that's why it's getting some national recognition. We've got other local projects. Burr Oak Lake, that project was just dedicated last year through a major donor project. There again, drew that down, eliminated the rough fish, and now this year, when we get some rain and snow melt again, that marsh will fill up and be a more productive wetland. There's several other ones over in Dickinson County. Just east or west of Ruthven on Highway 18 is DU Marsh. That's one of the first projects that Ducks Unlimited did in the state of Iowa back in the 90s. And they've just completed some additional work there, putting in some fish control structures. And if you drive by that this spring, I think you'll see a lot different ecosystem there with the ducks and the shorebirds, and we really look for that one to be a great project.
Oh, that's awesome. Sounds like you're doing some great work.
Yeah, we've done, like I say, $3 million in the state of Iowa this year. In fact, Ducks Unlimited will only raise about $1.4 to $1.5 million in the state through events like ours. But the national organization knows that this area is so vital to the North American continent waterfowl production that they're willing to spend additional money in this area just to maintain and restore some of these wetlands that are so precious to not only the wildlife, but marshes act as natural filters for the watersheds. And if you look up north of our lake, some of the marsh areas up there actually filter the water that goes into our own lake here in Emmitsburg, and you can see the difference in water quality by maintaining the shorelines that we've done in the last several years. Obviously up at the Great Lakes area up here, Okoboji and Spirit Lake, they're reaping the benefits of all the projects that we've done up there with increased water quality in those areas.
It sounds like a great organization with some pretty good goals.
Right, right. We think it's a very worthwhile cause that we're doing, and it's not only just for the ducks. You don't have to be a waterfowler to attend this event. If you want clean water, like I mentioned, and additional wildlife in the area, cattails are a great cover vegetation for pheasants and deer in the wintertime. And so it's not only just for ducks, it's a whole multitude of wildlife that benefit from healthy and abundant wetlands.
You bet. Well, let's talk about our local event. We've got our 27th annual event.
Right, right. Again, it'll be November 9th at the VFW here in Emmitsburg. Doors open at 5. And we'll have some games. We've got some raffles. So it's just a fun event. And we've got some very, very unique 75th anniversary Ducks Unlimited items. Got a few things on the table here. One thing, if you notice, we've got a blanket covering our table with the DU logo and our 75th anniversary logo. And this blanket itself will be on display and for sale that night. Over by you, we have a beautiful wood duck decoy with a 75th emblem embedded in the stand. That's a high value item. And this is the Ducks Unlimited Decoy of the Year, this redhead decoy here. And if you notice on that, there is a 75th anniversary emblem in the bottom of it.
Okay.
And this is a very, very high quality item.
They are. The detail on them is just amazing.
Yeah, this one is just, if you look at the lines and the feathering and the painting on this one, you can't hardly imagine that it's just a block. It's not a real duck. We have a wine set here with the glasses and the stoppers and the openers. This event is not just for hunters, like I said, and waterfowl people. It's a family organization, yes, and we have many women and many youth members that come to our event. We also have, this is a 75th anniversary Don't Tread on Me sculpture displaying a buck, and it comes with a commemorative knife with it.
That's a Terry Redlin, isn't it?
Yes, that's a Terry Redlin sculpture, sculpted after a Terry Redlin image on a print. Yep. And then naturally we do have a few guns at our event. I think we're going to have either 12 or 13 guns. And this is an example of one of our raffle guns. We're currently selling raffle tickets on this gun. And as of this taping, we've only got 25 left, 25 chances left on this gun. We're only going to sell 100.
Okay.
And we're actually selling this out prior to the event and make that drawing then that night. So anyone who's interested in some of these raffles, get a hold of us, because we're not only raffling off this gun, we've got another one that we're raffling off 3 guns in one package, and we're also raffling off a 42-inch TV.
Okay, and tickets are available for those right now too.
Oh yes, they're on sale right now. So if you can't make the event, you can sure help support us by purchasing raffle tickets, and you never know, if we draw your name that night, you'll be the proud winner of those items.
Right. Well, something else you do so well at the auction is wonderful pictures.
Right, yeah, wildlife prints. That's been a tradition for Ducks Unlimited. We've cut back a little bit because everybody's walls are getting kind of full of some of our great prints. So we have cut back a little bit, not only to take the pressure off everybody's wall space, but also to make sure we increase our demand on the ones we do have.
Sure.
This particular one is a, what is it? Oh, DuckTales by Ralph McDonald. And if you notice, there's no glass on this. This is a new process by which they're actually imprinting the picture on a piece of canvas, just like the artist did originally.
I was going to say, it looks just like it's hand painted.
Right, right.
Beautiful.
This is a print item, but if you notice, the grandpa is basically showing his young study, probably his grandson, his gun, and it kind of shows in the background some of the images of days gone by when grandpa was out in the duck blind, and he's passing on this knowledge and this legacy to this young individual. Now we have a program whereby an individual can buy a membership for a youth member from birth until 21 for a mere $250, and that individual then will be a member of Ducks Unlimited until they are 21. If you drive over west of Ruthven on Highway 18, on the south side of the road is DU Marsh. I mentioned that was one of our first Ducks Unlimited projects. That was one of our first Legacy Greenwing projects as well, and there is a plaque that has over 200 names of young people that bought Greenwing Legacy memberships, and their names are permanently displayed on that project. Throughout the state, we've done 1, 2, 3, I believe we're on our 5th project right now. Anyone who buys this picture, if it goes for over $250 or more at our event, they will have the ability to name a young person as a Greenwing Legacy member until that individual is 21 years old, and then that name will go on our next Ducks Unlimited project, and I believe the next one is down in southwestern Iowa at a project along the Missouri River down there.
No, I think when you and I talked earlier, we talked about there's a number of people, young people from our area that are on the plaque over west of Ruthven.
Yeah, you should stop and just look at that sometime. There's several names on that plaque that when we started that project and we knew that that project was going to have this plaque, a lot of people bought up Legacy Greenwing memberships at that time and had their young people's names put on that plaque. In fact, I know 2 of them very well.
You do. I bet you do. Well, let's talk about the raffles. You know, they're available. They're going on now.
Right.
And so who would we get tickets from?
Any Ducks Unlimited committee member would have them. Besides myself, there's Clint Young, Ron Reha, Grant Doon, Eric Schmitz, Andy Stolley, Kevin Christensen from Cylinder, and his 2 sons, Colton and Kyle.
Okay.
We have a young member on our committee this year, Brandon Juneman. He's a student at Iowa Lakes and thought that this would be a great opportunity for him to become involved locally in something like this, so we're real excited to have him as a member. Did I forget anybody? You've got the list
Well,
there.
here on the list I have a Pat.
Oh, Pat Bailey, sure. Pat has been, he's one of those guys that doesn't necessarily come out in the duck blind with us, but he understands that this is a very good cause, and he's been very, very active helping us set up and administer the event and sell raffle tickets for us. So yeah, Patrick Bailey has been a big help.
Okay, otherwise you did a very good job of remembering
Thank
all the names as if this was a test.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be giving some tickets away on KEMB. Let's talk about that.
Okay, we're going to give 3 pairs of tickets, so it's a husband-wife type combination, away this next, well, the week prior to the event on KEMB.
Right.
And the winners will have to answer a Ducks Unlimited trivia question.
Right.
And so it's either a true, false, multiple choice, those type of things. So be listening for that and an opportunity to win. Now we'd prefer to have someone that's maybe never been to a Ducks Unlimited banquet win these tickets, but we can't limit it. So if you've never been to one, be listening to KEMB next week and or the week prior, and see if you can't pick up a couple tickets if you'd like to come.
You bet. Well, I've seen the answers to the questions, and I don't think they're going to be as challenging as people might think.
One other thing, one opportunity that we're trying to formulate here, and you might want to be aware, and we'll sure publicize this if we get this put together. Normally we have chamber coffee on the Friday prior to, on the Friday of our event. We always try to have it on Friday. But this year there's a potential for a conflict with the E-Hawk football playoff, so we don't want to go against the E-Hawks. So that's why we changed our schedule to the 9th prior on the 2nd, so we went to the 9th. We couldn't accommodate the chamber coffee on that particular day, but what we are going to do, we're going to have a luncheon.
Oh, you are?
We are going to have I think we've got a caterer lined up to come in and provide sandwiches and a lunch meal, and we're going to allow anyone who would like to come for lunch to come on into the VFW, purchase the lunch from the caterer, and then you can go around and view our auction items, our raffle items, and that type of thing. Tickets will be available at that time, and for both raffles and the event that night. So we invite everyone to come out at that point and view our displays, and hopefully buy some tickets and be a winner.
Well, great. I'm glad you get that that opportunity to have the preview, because the other schedule changed. Anyway, well, let's go over that time and date again.
Okay, that's November 9th.
Okay.
That's a Friday night. Nothing else going on in town as far as sports at that point. And our doors will open at 5.
Okay.
Tickets are $45. And for a spouse, to bring your spouse, it's another 15, so it'll be
Okay.
a total of 60. Youth memberships are available for $25. And we will open at 5 o'clock and with the meal at 7. And then the auction and all the fun drawings will happen at 8 o'clock and after.
Awesome. Well, Brian, it was nice to have you here again today. And you are the man that knows everything there is about
Well.
Ducks Unlimited.
Well, at least maybe locally anyway.
Well, if you have any questions about Ducks Unlimited, be sure you get a hold of Brian Garlles. And we would thank Brian for being here today. And we hope you'll join them on November 9th for the DU banquet, or at least at noon to preview the items. So thank you for being with us today. This has been Chamber Chat, brought to you by Mansmith's Pharmacy, where your care is their only concern.
This has been Chamber Chat on Chamber Channel 3. Chamber Chat has been brought to you by Mansmith Pharmacy.